So what that means, guys, is if you pick up Stormgate now, you can be a top 100 player straight away. Okay, I'm sorry. Oh, that's a horrible way to begin a video. What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel. It's semi-finals time. Beanie's a contender. Will it be Kiljardi or will it be Anatan? Well, what I will definitely be is an aggressive series. Kiljardi, always infamous for this back in the days. We have a Dark Age Men-at-Arms rush. And what is up, Friedrich? Thank you much for the sub. I see you. Remember, guys, definitely drop those Prime subs. 110, 120 hours of content a month, and it allows you to dodge all the ads. So, Byzantines versus English. This is what we predicted, right? On the opening. Kiljardi has picked a Civ that's quite weak right now. English is like maybe C tier, possibly B tier if you're feeling generous. They're not great because the meta is Pro Scouts. Pro Scouts is everywhere, and therefore English deserve to kind of be nowhere. However, what we have here is a map that is not good for Pro Scouts, as there's only 12 on the map. 12 tier, that is. And two civs that both don't do it, really. Not naturally, not organically anyway. Every single time I've seen English or Byzantines done, it has been a very forced experience. It doesn't look natural, like, say, a Rus or a Chinese or a Juji player would. And yeah, so for those just watching on the YouTube side, when this goes up as a recording, we've currently been discussing, like, what RTSs need to get big again. And I guess it's... I don't know, is it kind of self-damaging as a channel that primarily runs tournaments to say that I think putting esports in 1v1s first is what's killing RTSs? Yeah, maybe, but yeah, to kind of like shoot people in on the conversation, I think, and it's really important actually for AV4 with the DLC. 1v1 is great, but like the campaigns and also some replayability elements, modding, etc. is really what's going to allow RTSs to come back if they ever do. So, Outpost Rush coming in. Kiljardi, he really is just looking to block his opponent in. Oh, this is sick, though. I don't think Anatan scouted this at all, right? No, he didn't see the racks. He went for a wide rotation. He's gonna scout it as it's happening, but with it being a Men-at-Arms, it might be a little bit difficult to dive. He does have Akratoi, and he would be able to clip the range, but I don't think enough villages are nearby. So, yeah, he sees the outpost going up. He's gonna have to concede that. He could get into a Kara Siphon quickly, but fair to say this is a beneficial start to the game for Kiljardi. His opponent isn't going to have mercenaries. What about RTS on a 10-minute timer? Each player starts with a Central Wonder. So you can't have Wonders anywhere near the base. The problem with that type of idea is you have to have a neutral objective that both players aim for, or it just becomes attack versus defend in a really bad way, right? But yes, I agree. Like, the cool thing that Battle Aces is doing is focusing on just being a short, replayable experience. And the reason why I still stand by my statement that AoE4 gamers, AoE2 gamers, StarCraft gamers should all be hyping up Battle Aces as long as they don't do silly things like the microtransaction obsession, is that game is a positive pull for every RTS game. And the reason is people will start with that game. They won't necessarily stop at that game. They will start with that game and then eventually realize that RTSs is more and bigger. And then they'll be like, oh, now that I've done Fisher Price as my first RTS, I know the basics. Now I'm more open to the complications that come in with all the other RTSs, right? All the extra keybinds, the extra building, all the crap alongside. Because you genuinely can't get people in, easily at least, to these traditional RTSs. And yes, the tree lines are walkable. You can walk through them. You can actually drop buildings here as well. So you can actually access these. This map is by Avali. It's a really good map, actually. I rate it highly. Perfect time to go for this map as well. Like, we have a Pro Scouts meta that I think a lot of people are hating. And with Oases as our default map, you don't really see Pro Scouts. In fact, this week so far, we've seen one Pro Scouts game outside of Delhi games. And that was an Anatan game, and I think he only done it because he was dominating so much. Speaking of Anno, good choice here to go into the Horseman. He's going to have to find a way of breaching through that outpost soon. But there is a high price, right? Kiljardi pulling a villager so early to build the outpost. And 3 Men-at-Arms plus the racks. That's a pricey endeavor. That's well over 500 resources invested. Hence why he's so slow to get to H2. Why, yes, Crackerdy, you can play this game either on PC or Xbox. In fact, there is a very cheap DLC that is incredibly high value and you should get. Did I mention there is also 2 DLCs coming this year? Wow! It sounds like a lot of reasons for people to visit Age of Empires 4 in 2025. I will admit they missed an opportunity to do this all in 2024, because then you could have said visit Age of Empires 4 in 2024. So Anno's goal here, by the way, is to build horsemen and just blitz the tower. He's going to up to probably about 8 horsemen and look for the torch down. Remember, Kiljardi didn't keep a villager here, right? So this outpost only has a limited run. Here he goes. Actually going to go with a 6. Scout's coming as well, though, so that's going to be a 7 burn power. Men-at-Arms have been trying to hop out. He's trying to do some clown car shenanigans, but remember, Anno doesn't care. In fact, he's ungarrisoning incorrectly now. Yeah, the injured horseman wasn't immediately hit. So far, this play has cost Anatan 1 horseman. It's cost Kiljardi 100 wood alone for the outpost, let alone the idle time. And you're building horsemen against a civ that's going to build lombos anyway. I don't think anything about this is bad for Anatan. Let alone the following up mop-up. Able to clean them up, ends up losing like what, a 2nd horseman? I think it's 2 horsemen for 3 men-at-arms plus a tower. So you got over double the value back in return. Yeah, Anatan is not unhappy with this trade at all. Kiljardi, it starts to feel like this is the type of play that would have made more sense for almost, I want to say, Abbey of Kings into, I don't want to say maybe a TC, but some sort of scalability there, such as Mass Horseman. I don't feel as if this Dark Age Rush done anything. Anything that matters, anyway. First time viewer, you should try China or sushi. Oh dear. Yeah, there's not... Oh, I'm trying to think, there's not really that many RTSs coming out in 2025, currently announced, right? I mean, the main one that's going to be coming up is Battle Aces, because it isn't released yet. I think the other interesting one is like something like Red Dragon, but that's a... Or is it... I can't remember the name it is. The ones that are made by like the people who made Steel Division. I think it's Broken Arrow. Like, that could be an intriguing one. Zero Space, yes, as well. I haven't really been following Zero Space. Tempest Rising is the other one. So there's like 4 or 5 RTSs currently, like, theory crafted out for 2025 release. But, like, of all of them, the only one that's really doing something new, at least from what I've seen recently, is Battle Aces, right? Tempest Rising is trying to recapture Command & Conquer. Zero Spaces is kind of trying to be the successor to StarCraft. Yeah. I would be interested in more RTSs that are trying to do something new, though, for sure. To me, the thing that is like maybe holding RTSs back from regrowing to huge is like we're basically trying to recapture the same audience again and again and again, instead of trying to figure out why we can't get a new audience. Does that make sense? The best way I think I've described it recently is one of the biggest cruxes of why RTSs maybe don't see that huge success is that we basically hire people who've played RTSs and developed RTSs for 10 plus years to make them. Now, I'm not saying you should have a whole team of people who've never made RTSs before, but new POVs are smart, right? Same reason why you don't just like have, you know, if you're trying to be an innovative company, you don't have every single person in the company, like age average being 70, because they've probably got ideas and they're stuck in their ways. Now, maybe that seems ageist, but the point is, like, fresh blood, fresh ideas isn't bad. The whole point of the people with the experience is their ability to bring the good ideas out from the blurb. You know, RTS that has all the RTS stuff, but also has a MOBA mode. Ironically enough, that was what Stormgate was going to do. I mean, as a MOBA commentator, yes. I would like to see those kind of synergies. Like, hell, what happened to the days when we had, like, hybridizations? Do you guys remember the... it was a team-based one. It was where someone would play, like, the RTS commander and the others were playing a first-person shooter. Natural selection. Very creative idea. Still a bit too complicated, but you see how, like, evolving is pretty cool. What's up, Party Beast? Hope I had the interesting commentary. Thank you, man. Well, welcome to the Swarm. Hopefully, the first of many visits to the channel. Yeah, natural selection was very intriguing. And the cool thing is, like, it was approachable because if you didn't want to figure out RTSs, you could just sit there and thump people over the head as a as an alien. You know, like, another one that kind of had weird strategic elements to it that were underrated was Planet Side. It was obviously an FPS, but like, I don't want to say it was doing RTS, but you get what I mean, right? Like, having these hybridizations where you try and take ideas from other genres and see if they work isn't terrible. The problem is when, like, you are, instead of making a fully refined product, just trying to entertain everyone. And I always use Dawn of War 3 as an example of this. Dawn of War 3 could not decide if it wanted to be a MOBA or an RTS. And it kind of ended up with the worst elements of both. Alright, so, Killjardy. If you're not familiar with Killjardy, he kind of has a reputation as an all-in aggro boy, and he's trying to fulfill that prophecy. Unfortunately for him, what a read by Anno. He didn't bother using this typical mercs. He actually went for the neutral trade post and got the Royal Knights. Anatan is probably the #1 utilizer of mercenary houses on trade posts. What is up? I think I said thank you to Free Lick for the sub. Thank you very much as well to Type Aerodubs. We are indeed front page. I'm hoping we're getting some people coming through that are looking at this game going, oh, this is interesting. One thing I'll say about AoE4 is while it in some ways follows traditional RTS aspects, something I've praised it on is that it probably feels a lot more investable in terms of your time for casuals than other RTSs. Because it's not trying to just be StarCraft. A lot of RTSs keep trying to snatch what StarCraft was without realizing how bloody hard it is to get into that type of game. I do sometimes wish the speed of AoE4 was faster, but in fairness, while I wish that from a spectating perspective, I think from a playing perspective, a lot of the pacing people are happy with. That's coming in. Okay, Killjardy, dude. When are we going to give up on the Ram idea here? I mean, Killjardy's Finn, but right now he's looking Dutch. I want to rename him Jean-Claude Van Ram. This guy needs to get over him. Because unlike that actor, he's not looking like the unbeatable action star. Oh my god, the villagers are here as well. No, this is over. Game 1, Anatan, all he had to do is just take a chill pill and not panic react. Killjardy. This cheesy outpost rush feeling like it's from a bygone era. And we just got reminded exactly why. English win rate, always plummeting. Sinking faster than the Titanic in the current meta. Funnily enough, this time it wasn't even because of pro scouts. You don't want to you don't want to speed things up too fast because it streamlines strategies? Exactly. But I think AoE4 still could be a bit faster. To your point, you definitely want people to be able to make strategic choices and adapt a lot. But also, you want to make sure that every moment in the game, or at least as many moments as possible, their actions feel meritable, like they're going to do something, right? I think we have a lot of stages in the game where it's not too bad. I've been quite clear on my criticisms. I think from a spectating perspective, Dark Age, although it's got better in the most recent meta, can sometimes feel a bit redundant. And then the other one is hyper late game, when it's cool to see big armies clash, but it's kind of sad when they don't move for like 40 minutes because they keep killing each other. Not every game. And I think that's why I'm glad we got some front page today to show the game off to people. Is AoE4 is, I think from a design perspective, entering its golden age. We have the best design we've ever had in AoE4. And I think it's going to continue to get better throughout 25. So, Killjardy, I've got bad news, buddy. You failed the feudal aggro twice. Your opponent gets to go castle. And with this castle age, he ain't weak. I love the fact Anatan added archers, by the way. Like, really want to emphasize that enough here. The Royal Knight detail was smart. On a map where you can get quite food-starved and exposed, if they can't help you win the fight, they can help you raid. Speaking of that fight, this looks completely like a wash. Anatan, the reigning champion, will be opening this best of 5 with a win. It's from an age behind. And with your opponent having doubled the army, there's no doubt about the outcome of this one now. See, that's what I love. Bullets like I haven't played Age of Empires in 15 years. I had no clue it's still around. They took a big break, but Age of Empires 4 is back, and it's never been looking better. Just like Anatan. The other thing I love about what we're able to do when we commentate over AoE4 as well is that slightly slower pacing allows us to have these type of discussions while the game's going on. And we don't really miss out on the action either. We open game 2 with action though. Game 1, Killjardy was the aggressor. Game 2, Anatan is trying to educate. We got HRE, One of the best is at doing this Dark Age Rax Rush opening on a shorter map where pressure can be found. And Kiljardi will need to rush additional workers out to the gold ASAP unless he wants to be curtains in the Dark Age. So, we were talking about, what were we going for? Yeah, the whole idea that, like, basically, after AoE 3, people lost faith in the franchise. I think one of the biggest issues we actually have currently in the gaming industry is the obsession over the next big winner. Instead of just making several games, which could all potentially be medium successful, every studio is interested in putting their entire bank on the line on one game. And they do so, they justify it by making it a previously successful game. And that brings with it unreasonable expectations. That brings with it limitations on freedom of creativity, etc. I think there is not enough, at least from AAA, new IPs entirely. They're all just basically regurgitating the same crap they have been for years. I say that as an Age of Empires 4 content creator, but you know, it goes wider. Like there really is plenty of good opportunities to make a great game without having to basically dust off and bring out a retirement an IP you haven't touched in X years. Like you see all the time, new ones just returning, and sometimes it's great, right? And I think that's also the debate is like because sometimes it's great, people always think it'll be great. We were just talking between games about Stronghold as a perfect example of that, and where they ended up in the end after trying for so long is like let's just literally remake the good games. Yeah, this is guys, this is bad. This is really, really bad. Kiljardi, oh my god, no. He didn't scout it. He didn't pull more villagers. And the distant mining has failed him because, look, Anatan has a spearman here. Guys, we might end up with the fastest game we've had. I know, he has got 3 spears here. Not all of them reacting straight away. Kiljardi, he goes for the rush. He needs 38 gold. Shivs are out. He'll look to address the first spearman, but remember, this is going to accelerate the timing on the outpost. If you want to make this work, you have to go for the villager. Uh-oh, Kiljardi, he's running away. I don't think he has enough. It's going to be tight. It's 1 worker lost so far. It's microing away correctly, but the outpost is now up. He could go in for the garrison. Arrow fire's coming in. And Kiljardi, we're going to have to do a check. He's got the gold required. Barely. This was so close to being a pre-5 minute GG. But he did get the 200 gold required for Feudal Age. By the way, that's another element of Age of Empires 4 that probably doesn't get praised enough in RTS development. The landmark system was very smart from like a choices perspective that changes games. The other thing though that I think gets slept on is that you can end a game quicker in AoE 4, theoretically at least, than any of the traditional RTSs. Or at least a lot of them, right? Like for example, AoE 2, you just keep building base, right? If you have a few villagers alive, you can maybe make the greatest comeback happen. Now, that might sound lame in the, oh, that makes AoE 4 linear, but that's not true at all. We have some incredible comebacks. But it's not like you get this, you have a building left, right? Like SC2 has this, right? Where you can basically spread out and have additional bases. Whereas Age of Empires 4 anchors you in some permanence of choices, right? Like that you have 4 landmarks total for most civs. And if you place them all close together and someone's all inning you, you could just die. It's very interesting, actually. Because the alternative is, you know, when you play like these old school RTSs, if someone snakes a base in the corner, you have to go find it. And if you're on a big map, that could take a very long time. Can the game sound up a bit? There you go. Let me know if that's better. So how does Kiljardi play out this now? This is pretty rough right now. And what is up, Huffy Tuffy? Thank you very much for the sub, mate. We do have Arkin coming in, so the plus side is you're not getting the mine work all in, but I don't think Anna really needs it from here. You do have to be a little bit careful because Kiljardi will scale a Nico lead over time, but realistically, we're looking at pro scouts here, right? And Kiljardi is going for a budgeted rush comp to try and block it. I respect this. Remember, the gold got blocked out. He can't play the pro scouts meta, but by Anatan playing it himself, there is actually a window of opportunity here. Question now is whether Kiljardi can climb through the window, or rather, you know, jump through it like an action star such as Jean-Claude. Landmarks also reward scouting unlike old school age ups. Yeah, because you can kind of see what's happening. I get where you come from there. And once again, I'm not saying that like every game should use the landmark system. I'm saying it's an example of an innovation that I think was a good idea. It's worked out quite well, but I never feel like I ever saw it get praised anywhere, right? And I've got a grumpy baby here. It's Ezra time. Oh. I know. Hello. He really wanted the stone for the outpost emplacement, and looks like he's going to get away with it. No wheelbarrow either. Man, this is such a greedy build from him. I mean, Horseman, Spear, Archers. I kind of love what Killjadi's doing. Out of all the players that would kind of lean into this comfortably, he's the one, right? Him and Vortex are the ones that love playing this all-in strat. And from his terrible spawn, he kind of has to. The alternative is you can go back and burn down the outpost, but because you need to build an army first, you might as well counterattack immediately, block your opponent's pro scouts play, and then afterwards you can come back to secure your gold. Because when you're playing French, you need that gold. French Knights are too important. Heavy Cav in Age 2 is crazy. If you ask any low-ranking players, if you're a new player about to pick up the game, you're probably going to think it too. Feudal French Cav, OP. And wait, where did the stone go? Did he just not gather enough? Yeah, he just didn't gather enough. He only got 9. So no arrow slits means this outpost should be toast. However, I don't really like what's happening here for Killjadi. By backing up, you're going to let your opponent get his pro scouts timing, right? It's coming in 40 seconds. It's going to take you, what, probably 30 to clear the outpost from now, which means you're not going to be able to block the first deer pack. Second will be variable. If he gets rid of these deer first, he's got options. In fact, Anno, he does see how empty this area is. One thing he could have done is he could have used the initial troops to shove these deer in. What's this tournament? Never seen 2K views on AoE? This is the midweek muster. So we run these tournaments every single week. It's an esports circuit spanning 30 weeks of action between upcomers and some of the best players in AoE 4. So if you like competitive LTSs, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, this is your place to be. In fact, next week we do have a rare case of where instead of Thursday, it'll be Wednesday. But on average, it's always been Monday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Okay, so Outpost got cleared. He has got the gold now, right? Anno went greedy. Instead of taking the safe deer, he just tried to take Central. We'll be able to pull some of them back. We do have Archer production now. Now, keep in mind, Killjadi, his economy isn't ahead right now. Or it shouldn't be anyway. But Anno's doing something a bit weird. Because he placed the Archon on the gold instead. Which is a little bit surprising here. He's spread his wood line. He's not fully buffed. He has got, like, what? We're talking about 26 villages right now with 40% buff. His economy is definitely superior to Killjadi's. Looks like both of them are about to run out of sheep. Killjadi's going to have to go on to the deer. Wait, is he actually going back to... Yeah, he's going back for Pro Scouts. That's kind of crazy. Very delayed Pro Scouts, but in fairness, the way Anatan has played this, he hasn't got much off the map yet. And it is a lot of spears and archers already. Dive coming in. Outpost is going to assist in the defense, but... Still a fight that Killjadi is more than capable of taking, right? Numbers are on his side. Still got 2 spin remaining, so the horseman can't contest. And the worrisome part now for Anno, and I'm sure he's paranoid about it. Knights are going to be coming soon, and your opponent has already blobbed archers. So you need to build spearmen, but to do so, you're kind of leaving yourself wide open here. You'd like to participate in the giveaway, but you cancel your Twitter account? I'm sorry, Bob. If we do more giveaways, I might sort of Gleam account to give different ways of entering. But for this one, we had to do Twitter because I'm a cheapskate, and a Gleam account is at least $120 a year. So for this one on the Shure MV6 microphone, definitely is going to have to just be Twitter. Maybe in the future we do different platforms as well. Yeah, if you guys want to enter that, we're giving away a microphone. Giveaway should end at the start of March. And we'll announce the winner. Exclamation mark giveaway for details on that. If you don't like dealing with like XLR cables and all the extra details, you really want this microphone. And because we live in 2025 and it's not 2008 where it's acceptable to have a microphone that sounds like you're deep throating it while you yell about my mum, it's worth having a good microphone, even if you're not a content creator. Really does make a difference. It makes people actually want to get into a VoIP with you, you know? So Hossman have just scouted by. I think he knows about the amount of gold being gathered here. It's now starting to come through. I mean, it's kind of awkward that Anatan went pro scouts just to have to add in farms this early. You can do it as HRE, but you see where it left him weak. Instead, he's now just trying to get out the age. So Castle is going to be rushed here. He didn't really secure much, did he? I think he's now starting to get the deer coming through, though, because Kiljadi just completely gave way. I'm a little bit shocked by this, actually. Just how far he backed up. I guess he was paranoid about maybe some horseman raids. I mean, it's going to be, what, close to a 50-50 split, but Anno took 2 deer from here. So I'm pretty sure he's ahead on overall deer collection. Remember, those deer are important, right? Like, the meta right now is delay your farm transition as long as possible. Players decided about a year ago that that's the efficiency we need to aim for now, and it's very important for obvious reasons, because players got better at using their early units. But now, when you accelerate that to an extreme where one player can, for example, have a maximum of 10,000 extra food, which, for reference, if you build horsemen alone, is going to be 100 extra horsemen, it basically breaks games. That's why people play Pro Scout so often. It's the difference, and it's safe. We need Ezra predictions about games. Ezra. Hey, buddy. Come, daddy. Grunt once if you think Kiljadi is going to win. Grunt twice if Anno. It's a bit shy, guys. I said grunt once for Kiljadi. Twice for Anno. He's on strike. I can't get an answer out of him right now. It's what happens. You don't buy them the nice milk and they get grumpy. He'll go back to grunt in a second. So, Kiljadi, quite a lot of knights, but he needs a dive point now. He needs to punish this tech up. Time isn't on his side, right? Not with the way this game began. Military count is, but the longer he waits, the more crossbows that arrive. Give me a dive on the double static emplacement here. Spearman might be able to catch the knights. Some villagers are getting caught in the affair. And it's going to be a dive beyond onto the archers. And has the upgrades to follow through with this. First knights are starting to come out for Anatan, but the archers are looking for those villagers, are going to be able to chase through. Kiljadi, he's starting to stack up a bit of damage. It's adding up and it's buying him time. He's prepping his own castle. Instead, he reinvests, though. Was this the right call? He lost all his fort spearmen. The 2 knights can chase down the archers. The villagers could be caught here. It's not what you call a quick kill. However, wave number 2 is on the way. And the interception path is real here. Kiljadi, if he peels the knights right now, this could be 3 or 4 extra worker kills. And he's on the way in. Finds him, chases. At this stage, Anno does not really have the numbers to directly contest this. Really should be looking for some counter trades. He's forced to defend, so more workers down. A lot of idle time achieved here. Kiljadi, remember, he did reinvest. He didn't go for the castle pivot. He added more troops in, and now enough time has passed that veterancy's also come in for the archers. Kiljadi will trade out best he can here, but this is starting to look a little bit glim. Glim? Bleak. Glib. Words. No words for this. I mean, Guildhall coming in. Kiljadi. He's going to get his age up, but with that dive, I mean, he got some worker kills, but what he lost is military clump. There's nothing realistically to stop Anatan from going for relics now. I'm getting a rough feeling about this one actually now for Kiljadi. For a moment, it looked good with that dive, but you just see how tricky it is, right? Like with the inferior movement speed. The crazy thing is, if that was the other way around, that would have been game ending. Because remember, HRE have marching dual archers, right? So they move quicker than villagers. Normal archers almost move at the same speed as wheelbarrow villagers. But the wheelbarrow villages, rather, are slightly quicker. So that kind of cost him, right? The opportunity to get more kills. Killjadi definitely missmicroed a bit. When he was coming in with the knights on the north side, he didn't split them off. He could have dove really early there and done extra damage, like 2, 3, 4 worker kills extra. Speaking of worker kills, oh, this is disastrous. No, Killjadi, not like this. The archers are coming as well. There's no way you can get an outpost up quick enough. Meanwhile, knights in the base, they're everywhere. Does pinch one of them, so we'll be able to get the gap close to the spearman. But this is getting a little bit slippery. 4 prelates in play for Anatan. 2 more relics on the way home. Remember, with the regnants, that's going to be double the passive gold per minute. Anatan is just a mile ahead economically right now. And the guild hall, which stacks resources over time, isn't going to pay out for Killjadi for like another 8 to 9 minutes at least. I don't think you have that sort of time. He's even got the berries left over. I was worried maybe like Anatan needed a farm switch. That would have been good for Killjadi. Gives him extra length to the game, but not the case at all. And just to make matters worse here, the arbitrary count is kind of split in multiple locations. We've got men-at-arms crossbows coming from Anno. He's losing way too many troops to this. And when you look at what he actually wants to have here, he's got like, what, 5 military pop that actually matter. Meanwhile, for Anatan, he's got, what, 10, 12? While also getting relics. Knights even going to peel off. They're thinking about going off the villages. A little bit of a misclick there with the Selectal Army for Anatan, but he's doing enough work here. Killjadi's pinned. If he can get towards like 20, 25 arbitrary, this looks great, right? Getting there is the challenge, especially when Anatan does this. He's flooding for quantity, not just quality. The archers are the cheap boy, but rich enough that they're too rich for Killjadi. Anno, he may have another semi-finals being speedran here. Maybe, just maybe there's hope. Wait, no, I just remembered Killjadi doesn't play Chinese. Oh. Ladies and gents, this man has picked the most OP Civ in the current meta, but it's also no secret that he doesn't play it that much. In fact, it became a meme. If you interviewed him on LAN and went, what is your secret Civ? He'd say China, just to throw his opponents off. So I'm curious to see what Killjadi is going to be able to do in this one. Chinese versus Malians. In fairness, the current meta is very different to the meta that Killjadi wouldn't have been grateful for China, which is TC booming. Now it's about getting loads of deer with the pro scouts play, fast castle aggro, fast ends of games. If it goes too late, I'm curious how much experience Killjadi actually has on the Chinese to kind of level him up, because I'm checking his account right now, guys. If I go all patches and have a look at his statistics, Killjadi, I have a feeling Chinese is going to be like the 3rd least played or something. So having a look now, all patches played, Chinese is in the bottom 4. And this is going to blow your mind. There are only 3 below Chinese played for Killjadi. And those 3 were added in the expansion. That's right. Like 2 extra years China had, and still they're almost beaten in games played. We've got Zhuji at 112, Zhon at 117, Ayab's at 127, and then Chinese at 128. On an account that, for example, has 374 games of Mongols. So yeah, not exactly the experience high for him. So tech up's coming through. Imperial Academy is just kind of the go-to. Remember, with China, it's all about getting your Imperial officials out. So you have the taxation as well as 20% more resources coming in from the supervision. This landmark is like OP. It's top 3 for sure. Killjadi said in King of the North, China was his favorite Civ. Exactly. And we should always believe what players say. Like Vortex, when he said Order the Dragons OP, he was just talking about it a year early. You should get in cahoots with the AoE4 community. Start a mass sub option. Discount rate, but you get the sub for blank, 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 and would be great. Wait, what? I'm confused what this is in regards to. A mass sub option. What you mean on basically exclusive content? Maybe. So, Anno is going to be going man, so this should be pro scouts, right? The gold gathering rate? Yeah. Interesting. Okay, Killjadi just kind of got like a mini victory there. So the reason why you pick Chinese into Malians that looks pretty good is you can rush your racks opening, spam spears, and then you take out this pit mine, which generates gold. Along with their houses, because they want to build them around the pit mine to get more gold. Which means that all these buildings in Dark Age are not safe underneath the TC, right? Which would have arrow fire. Well, Anatan was clearly paranoid. You have two choices when you're Malians. You either add in Donzos, which is really expensive, your own special spears, or you build an outpost. He chose the outpost, and Kiljadi has baited him hook, line, and sinker. He didn't do anything. And what's up, Capital GG? You done the right thing. Thank you for subbing, mate. Appreciate you. Welcome back to Swarm. All right, can I get some K-Pig Pogs and K-Pig hypes in chat? Because I gotta say, like, this beginning for Kiljadi is pretty good. The follow-up could be even better. Anatan got double Ford Spawn in gold. The Retractor one isn't even necessarily the most easily wallable. So, as a Malian player, like, your gold options may become limited quite quickly. Especially if Kiljadi takes an aggressive line here. This is going to begin by aggressing onto the deer. Upsides to Anatan, if he wanted, his Warrior Scout could shove this in quite freely. Make it almost impossible to take away. Downsides for Anatan. A wide spread like this makes counter Pro Scout plays hard. And remember what we said about Malians. They are best utilized as an anti-Pro Scout civ because the Warrior Scouts are better scouts, meaning they can beat up the enemies before they can take deer away. This map spawn would have been great for a barbecue rush. I think that's maybe why he built the outpost. You basically either, if you're worried about being rushed, you either build the outpost or you wait and build a Saharan trade network back here. Never really feels good to have to build that Saharan trade network. Like, honestly, the only time where I think people feel good about building a Saharan trade network is if they have a crazy trade plan in mind, or if they want to outpost rush their opponent. Surprised people haven't tried more of the outpost rushes so far. How do you guys gamble on this one? I'm curious. 66% for Anatan. Okay, I think that's the closest in terms of Gamba so far, right? Most of the time it's been higher. Kiljadi, we have got the racks full up. So this is what I was talking about, like anti-Pro Scouts players. China's not bad at this because of the production speed. Remember, with the supervision, look at how they accelerate things. They turn 1 racks into 2.5 racks. Allows them to vomit out a lot of spears quickly. Nano, because those Donzos are more expensive and you have no production ramp, he chose to go the other way on this. He's aggressively spamming out the scouts. Pretty smart choice considering that every other civ pays 25 seconds in wait time to get their scouts. It only costs you 15. This is why in the past, for a little while at least, Malians had this very popular 2-scout opener to go get all the sheep, where they build the second scout out of the TC. Kind of fell out in terms of popularity, but Malians was, I think, the chief civ that could afford to get away with it. Almost like a Cast Age landmark, nerf IOs. I think Imperial officials do too much. The idea that I said that would be pretty cool is if supervision of, I don't know if you do it for production, but definitely for research speeds, should be locked behind the Barbican landmark. So you build the Barbican, there's something you research in there. Even if it's a free tech, just the fact you'd have to build the Barbican would change the timings entirely. So after a slight delay, we basically have a Zerg from Kiljadi, don't we? Which is interesting, because right now Anatan is just kind of being a cheapskate. He's waiting to see what his opponent is doing first. He's come to the conclusion, you need loads of spears. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but Ezra is non-stop chattering right now. All I can hear is... What? What are you doing? Rush on the outpost there. Has he got scouts inside? Yeah, so he's not gathering more deer. And also, these scouts are kind of royally screwed now. Archer pivot coming from Anno, but this is too slow. At least control of Fort Gold. Interesting part about this. Okay, it was a village as well. The interesting part is Anatan is overburdened on gold anyway. He's fighting tooth and nail for something that he realistically shouldn't need, but credit to him, he might down the line. If he can't get deer home after this, he's going to need to switch to Cal, and that does eat up your gold. So I've got the Javelin Sofas coming in as well. Anatan just pretty much at the gelato stall asking for one of everything. Not the best micro either. Interesting split. So taking out the houses and the pit mine. Probably better to deal with one and then the other. Maybe seeing an opportunity, though, because look at Anatan's numbers. He needs to build more houses here. What's he getting up pop locked? Be careful, KP. Chances are at least one person in chat has child protective services on speed dial. That sounds to me like they need to watch Twitch harder. Like, who's got time for phone calls? All right, Grandpa, calm down. What do you mean child protective services don't allow Discord phone ups? Horseman. Nice dive to the backside. Remember, he needs to be taking out those archers so the Spearman can reign supreme here. Anatan, he just kind of lacks the numbers to look that scary. In fairness, Killjoy is giving a lot of space. He pulls the Horseman away. That must have been a misclick. Yeah, I think he got distracted by a ping back at base. So we'll fall back here. But Killjoy is so in control of this game. Look at what he's got going. Castle Age is going to be on the way. What is this game? This game is Age of Empires 4. That's right. Successor to one of the greatest RTS franchises ever created. Definitely recommend checking it out. Oh, you're talking about creating a unique type of sub that is like a combo sub. As cool as an idea that is, Dossio, I can guarantee it's not a scale that Twitch would even look at it. You'd also have to present a way that they can make more money, not less. Quite often, people look at their favorite streamer, they're like, hey, why does this person not have like a deal with, you know, Logitech or Glorious or SteelSeries, whatever. You have to reach a scale point for companies to want to engage, if that makes sense. And it sounds almost like snobbish, but it's not. What it is like when they want to do deals with you, there's infrastructure involved. They then have to have someone who monitors deliverables. They then have to have a lawyer that does contracts, etc., etc. It's like there's a lot of hidden costs in all these type of things. Oh, thank you, Dossier. Well, you know what? Fingers crossed we can go big. What's up, Fres Talil? Thank you very much for the Prime sub, mate. That's an easy way to help us go big, by the way. Prime subs are free. And it is the start of the month, so I imagine there's a few people that probably forgot to use theirs. So Killjoy's now an age ahead. Anno is trying to catch up. Does he have enough gear to do a Farimba play? I don't think so. This probably has to be an empty Fulani, which is going to leave him very weak at the start of Castle. Remember, Fulani really gets no effect until you add in all your cattle that generate food on the ranches. So there's a big gap here now for Anatan. For Malians, like whenever you look up, you want to feel like this military count is always ahead. If he ever ends up behind on the military count, Malians are flatlining. This Civ is probably the purest form of a Zerg Civ that you see in AoE4. We're about quantity over quality, at least once you reach Feudal Age, Castle Age rather. Feudal's a bit weirder because Javelin Donzos are better. But Castle's a weird change at the script. $9K, they're shy to make it 10K? Wait, what, sponsors? Oh, yeah. I mean, I think a lot of content creators are finding it hard right now, actually, chat. Because, like, it's hard to monetize your gaming audience for a lot of them, because I think a lot of people who are good content creators aren't necessarily great salesmen. And a lot of companies are kind of done with the exposure standpoint. They want to make money. Just like Killjoy wants to, which is why he wants out of his base. Relics are coming home. Anno's doing a good job of contesting this right now, though. Javelin's traded out all the backline. The problem he has, in the end of the day, is the PG. The Palace Guard, the armored units, that he actually has no answer to. You'd think a Javelin would be very good at penetrating, but not good enough here. I mean, no surprise as well. Have you seen the way these guys throw these things? It's like, just kind of boinks off of them. So Palace Guard now spamming out. We've got Veterancy for archers on the way. Anno is getting ready for the age up. We're going to have to see the ugly Fulani, aren't we? Poor horses, so many of them died since launch of AoE4, right? Like, Jesus, you'd think Microsoft is getting into the glue factory business. Anno. Oh, we've got Farimba! Okay, this is sick. From this position, he kind of doesn't have many options, right? Like, he's at risk if he goes for Fulani. It gives no value. So he just says, screw it. Long term, this is going to hurt you against China. But short term, this could give you the big reward to win the game. This has to be Mansa Musafadi, which is going to be your anti-armor units. It will give them a lot of melee armor. The weakness is you have no ranged armor, your opponent's already building archers, and if he just drops a Barbican, which he can afford, Zhuge Nu destroy Musafadi. Dav coming in here. So he's trying to get more outposts up. This is a tricky one to hold. He has started to spam out the Musafadi to a point that it seems to have Killjoy reluctant. Yeah, so why is Killjoy not forcing the dive when he's an age ahead? The reason is quite simple. It's map control. He's getting all the relics, and he's China. China's one of the best late game civs. He doesn't care if he needs to go deeper. That does mean that Anathan survives. It means that Anathan has now got the upgrade coming in, and it is indeed going to be the Mansa Musafadi. So watch the stats on this unit here. Boom. This is in feudal right now. It has 3 melee armor. Once he vets them up, they get 4 melee armor default, which is big considering, look at their base damage. They hit for 8, right? On the other side, the unit they're going to be countering hits for 12 base. So you're mitigating a third of their damage straight away, but then you're also getting double damage against them. This is what can only be described as a Palace Guard shredder. The tricky part are the range units. Now, Killjoy, he hasn't scouted this, because if he did, he would have went Song by now, because Zhuge Nu is kind of like an easy way to run this through. Nestabees works as well, though, and it is Clock Tower, which means he's getting the 50% extra health on his siege. Nestabees are kind of polarizing, right? Like, anyone who plays chill China goes Imperial and thinks these things suck. Anyone who plays high-level China tries to aggro in Castle and realizes how broken these things can look. It just melts you like your butter in a hot summer sun in the middle of the Gobi Desert. And yes, this is the latest Age of Empires. More recently, there was Age of Mythology Retold, but that is a remastering of an older one, so it's not new, per se. They did change a lot of the design, but it's not, we built this engine, we built this game as if it was made in 2024. I'd also stand by the statement that this is probably the most noob-friendly of the Age of Empires games. And hopefully, this year we should be getting quite a few new campaigns, fingers crossed. We just had an announcement the other day that 2 DLCs are coming this year. My hopes is that by the end of the year, we've added 4 additional campaigns. Honestly, that's just such a chatterbox. You know, I know they're my kids, so I'm kind of biased, but goddamn, I have the cutest kids in the world. I feel like I kind of appreciate other people's kids a bit more. Like, my niece, I appreciate more than I did any of my nephews and nieces before it, because I didn't have kids at the time. Don't know if anyone else had that experience. Like, I had a friend that I tried to show a picture of my daughter, and he was like, oh, I don't care about kids. Like, yeah, let's just say they're cute and move on. I was like, when you have your own kid, mate. Will my kids grow up to be 2TC English mains? I guess I'll get one of those reversible snips, you know? You can always fix it with the next one. I think it's also like, because you've got kids now, it's... I mean, I guess it's okay as like an adult to just be interested in kids and find them cute anyway. But it's almost like it feels more organic and less weird that you're interested in kids. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'm trying to think of what the big logic is. It's probably more the appreciation side, but I wouldn't be surprised if that's part of it as well. Where it's like, you don't have relatable experiences at all, so you don't care about them. And then also for people who are like looking at you, like, you know, going, oh, your kid's cute or whatever. It's like, yeah, but you don't get it either. You don't have a kid. I guess that's part of it. I don't know. It's very interesting. Now we're gatekeeping opinions? Yeah, you're not allowed to care about kids if you don't have them. No. Kid. It's like interesting for me because before I had kids, like when we had our first, to my partner, I was like, yeah, I'll be more involved when they're like old enough to pick up a console controller. Because that's where I think I'll be the good dad. But now I'm like, yeah, I don't mind being very invested in them at this point. I still hate holding newborns with a passion. I don't think it's natural that babies are born with a self-destruct button on their head. I get why they are, right? So there's no, like, the whole idea is that the skull can, like, change shapes. You can be pushed out, right? So that mummy can sneeze very hard and you can fall out. However, here's a different thought. What if you just had a wider gap there? You know, like, I forget the pelvic muscle, like the pelvic bone or whatever was wider. That to me would seem more organic than, like, the babies can die very easily self-destruct button. Right? Because it's not like evolution was thinking, well, that's just going to mean I'm going to have to buy bigger trousers in the future. No, it doesn't make sense. That made the act of creation more unpleasant. It's a true Komodo, but I mean, like, similar to when someone says they can't win a game of Counter-Strike, you say just get good, just get bigger. Because, like, it would be the evolution, surely. Now I am size shaming us. I don't know, man. Once again, though, self-destruct buttons, babies' heads. For real, though. Starts straining and flexing. Yeah, let me just get an intermediary device for this to still feel great. What's this cast? It is a calming moment before these two clash. Anatan, he has done well to compete, actually. Like, some interesting things have happened in the last 2 minutes. He went 2TC, mirrored by Killjadi. Killjadi still doesn't have Song Dynasty, though, so his TCs aren't quicker producing. He's prepping for the hyper late game. Which doesn't sound very Killjadi-esque. Give it another 20 trillion years and the pelvic bones will be the right size. No, because then the babies will be bigger. The poor woman that are going to have to deal with that. And I'm not talking about my partner. She had it easy. Okay, that's not an exaggeration. You guys want to guess how long it took my partner to give birth to our son after she went in the hospital? And what is up, Bazo? Thank you much for the sub, mate. Welcome to the swarm. Appreciate you. Yeah, so took her up to the hospital room, went back down, got the things to stay overnight. Our baby was born in less than 20 minutes. I was like, she treated that hospital like it was a fast food restaurant. In and out. No time wasted. Nurses were like, oh, wow, we wish more people would be like you. So, Anno, we have got some wide flank opportunities here. This is the thing that Malians do best, right? The mobility. The tricky part is Palace Guard can mirror you. So in a normal game without Farimba, rough. But with the Mansa Musafadi, Chimichanga, yes, these boys are big. 4 melee armor means they can actually do quite well into PG. And until we get Yuan, Kyojadi doesn't have an answer. He only just got Song. We do have the granaries being set up in the corner. This is a poor man's defense strategy. Usually you have a giant Great Wall gatehouse here, rocket launchering people to defend you. Thank you, Chansey. Appreciate it, mate. This game looks cool. This game is cool. It's only 30 quid on Steam. If you want to try it cheaper, it's on the Xbox Game Pass. And it has 2 DLCs coming this year, so I 100,000 million% recommend at least checking it out. Yes, she was speedrunning birth, for real. I always joke, my son must have been in trauma mode when he was born, right? It was so quick, he was like, what the hell was that? You know, it's like... Okay, here's the comparison. Like, my son's birth was like when you play StarCraft 2 without any RTS experience. Whereas, like, standard length birth, like, you know, 2 or 3 hours. That's like AoE 4. It's like, it's a good enough pace and like, get it over with. But it's got enough length to it that you can actually process what the hell is happening. My wife's doctor had to plunge my son out of my wife because I passed down my big head cheese. Hey, look at it this way. You make a brilliant football player. Headers for the goals. I'm just going to have to really highlight that detail, though. My wife's doctor had to plunge my son out of my wife. But to put it another way, it makes it sound like he had to plunge himself into your life to get him out. I'm sorry, it's just the way it's worded. Maybe that's just my dirty brain, but... So we do have a little bit of raid attempts on the backside. Anasan not going to be able to do any real damage. What he has done is bought time for the Gurutbara. And looks like little old Ezra's out of here. Say bye, Ezra, everyone. The cooing baby is gone. All right, so now that we're in the late game, normally I'd say China just wipes the floor with you, right? Like at this stage, Anatan should rename himself the Mott and kill Jardi the Jana, because that's going to be the relationship. But no, there's a difference here. It is the Farimba. I think Farimba is a whole different ballgame in the hyper late game. Freeborn plus Musafadi is crazy strong. It's a lot of effective HP in fights. You have the Mansa Musafadi that can beat the Palace Guard, and you have Freeborn that stop crossbows, do okay against hand cannons because they're very tanky. So this can be very tricky. The best answer for Kill Jardi is what he's kind of doing here, like mass nest of bees. The worrisome part now is if we go deep in Imperial Age, you will be seeing trade. We're already seeing it. With trade comes great responsibility to be an ass and spam mangonels. Mangonels are the kings of late game right now. I'm a bit worried, actually, for Kill Jardi here. And you are correct. The Freeborn are essentially Supermen at Arms. It's not just the Freeborn, it's also the Mansa Musafadi. What's up, Bazo? What is up, Boston boys? Thank you much for the subs, mate. Looks like we started a sub train, which is interesting because I don't think trains existed around this time period. But choo-choo, everyone hop on board. Thank you, thank you. So interesting thing about stats and the way they scale in late game. Some things kind of feel like oversights. Remember, they changed the university techs at the same time they brought in the Freeborn unit. The Freeborn's weakness is meant to be melee units, but when you get elite army tactics, it gets full melee armor. So all of a sudden you have a very chunky, high HP unit that has even more chunkiness because both melee and range don't do much to it. It's tricky. This is a very hard unit to beat. It's not a damage dealer, admittedly, that's his negative, but it is a damage absorber. It hoovers the damage. 205 HP. Like, look at these stats right now. 10 armor. PG has 5 at this stage. When you get EAT, you'll immediately have more melee armor, but these guys will also be able to tank you because of the HP. Oh, wait. Where's the walls? Where's the walls? We have a Great Wall Gatehouse coming up. This is big for Kill Jardi. He needs it. He's panic reacting. Wait, that's not how you build one of these. Remember, they're just all going to stand there. He's like, are you guys tapping your hammers quick enough? Yes, Jim, we are. Can you maybe tap it quicker? They're coming. Okay, Jim, chill. Marie's now getting on it. Come on, faster. He's literally got 46 villages here, but about 8 of them are building it. Oh, my God. And the Musafadi are already here. Landmark's going to be going up, but some big damage could get done. It's so much wasted idle time as well. SMB shots are coming in, but my oh my, those villagers, even with textiles, are going to feel the pain. Wait, they're all running to the same place. Okay, Kill Jardi is in full old man panic mode. At this stage, he's not sure if he's hitting the seek shelter on his keyboard or if he's hitting the panic alert for his wetting nurse on the wall. Either way, this old man's reflexes are causing him some issues. Because that was inefficient as all hell. Oh, God. I mean, he does at least clean it up, right? But the idle time, the loss of villages, it could have been so much better. Remember, the way that Seek Shelter works, it's not the ideal with 40+ units because they'll all Seek Shelter here until they realize it's full. That's why that looks so bad. Behind this, Ammo's never looked so good. Already up to 11 traders. He's got good map control. Gold blockers. There's no 8k vein of gold that Kill Jardi has access to, and he's playing a Civ. It's quite a lot of gold to play the late game. Jesus! I just looked at chat. Yeah, maybe, like, held a message for recent aggression. That was the message. Oh no, I've just added permitted terms. No, don't. No! It looks so bad. It looks so bad when you can see my permissions. It just said killer pigeon added a permitted term, kill the woman.
Jesus Christ.
Not even the, and she'll just, that's what makes it worse. It's not like, oh yes, just murder them all. It's very specific. Oh, look, the Musafadi have just casually ran into the base again. There's no way we would panic, seek shelter with everyone. Oh, no. It's happening again. He doesn't have a gate either. No, 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 no. They came to clap some cheeks. They've even got the elite army tactics now. This is just rinse and repeat. So now we have at least got to dive in and attempt to clear the keep. It's going to make it crumble. Second wave now arriving though, the Nest of Beast count. We talked about how these things start to fall off in the late game. We are in late game. Villager's being pulled. He's going to chase this. So Kiljadi has to micro away. And I think that's going to be a loss of the siege. Remember, he pulled the PG back to react to the last raid. Meant that the siege was out of position. Now, admittedly, a lot of his clock tower has the 50% extra health, so it doesn't die that quickly. But you know what else doesn't die quickly? Any of this? So a little lesson for those new to Age of Empires 4. Walls tend to be your best friends. You're learning why here. Oh my god. Oh, there's nothing left of him. This is the proverbial equivalent of, you know, the guy that brought the shotgun versus the zombie army. At some point, you're going to have to reload. And when you do, it's chow time. Death by 100 nibbles. Because Kiljadi looks like kibble here. Hand cannons are coming out way too slowly. Dude, what a sick game from Anno. He took what looked like a losing game into a clutch pivot with that Farimba play. He knew he had a limited runway. He had to find value at the starter castle. Going through Lani would have given him long-term value. He understood against a player like Kiljadi. Kiljadi had a high risk of over-aggressing because it's his playstyle. And Anno used that against him to get to a very comfortable late game and a very quick set of semifinals here, because we are going to be getting a 3-0 and a showdown, a hoedown between the reigning champion of Midweek Muster and the former. B knows his opponent. There's no doubt about it now. Anno is a dog with a bone, and he's not letting go. Well, we might have 3-0s here, but is anyone else sensing a 7-game grand finals? Smells like a long streak. Commiserations to Kiljadi though. Pipped at the post. Yet to be able to really flex his muscles here. But, you know, I don't think this is as much on him being behind as Anatan being forward. Anno is looking the best he ever has in Age of Empires 4 right now. This 2025 has kicked off in strength. And you know what? I was about to say what laidback's hitting on. Maybe players playing in KPMM, the weekly tournament format we run, is actually beneficial to becoming a top player. Call me crazy, but the results are kind of speaking for themselves. I think there's even a fair argument that B, if it wasn't the group he was in, would have went even deeper in EGC's S-tier tournament. But for now, we focus on the deep striker. Anatan, high off success in EGC TV's tournaments, is now looking to return to form in ours.